Yes, welcome to Everyday Experts. As you see, my guest Shelisha is a little delayed in her travels. I think she hit some traffic. So, filling in is the executive director, CEO, president, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, commander in chief. Some call him the garbage adventurer. I call him Red Robin, Mr. Rob Fishbeck. Thank you for jumping in for me, sir.
My pleasure. How's it going?
Going good, bud. It's going good. So, me and Rob, being the music connoisseurs that we are, decided that we would have some fun with the beginning of the episode while we wait for Shelisha to show up. So, I sent him the Billboard Top 100 for the end of 2021. And I think collectively between the two of us, I know Rob said you knew Blinding Lights, right? Number 3.
Yeah, here. Well, all right. So can you send me the link in the private chat for this billboard thing so I can put it in the live chat?
Sure. Let me see.
While he's doing that. So yeah, he sent me this list of 100 songs from last year, and I'm like, fuck, I'm probably gonna know maybe like 2 or 3 of these songs. And I think I scrolled through like the first 20 and I knew one. I'd heard one of the songs.
I love it.
But I don't like all that. I don't like that pop. I don't like that pop music and pop and the fucking. It's too much. It's like boozoo 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 boozoo. It's like I don't want to listen to that. Like, why don't you plug an electric guitar in and
Well, because they do everything synthesized.
Sing me about a woman. You know.
They do it all.
I know
on TV.
And then they just yell the same like 5 words, and it's like that's not a song.
Well, yeah, and
I mean it is. But...
I mean, we could talk about it because a lot of times what we do see is that a song is what 50-60% hook.
Sure. Sure.
It's crazy because
but if the hook's all you're offering, I love a good detective movie. Right. I love a good song that takes you to bridges or choruses or pre-choruses or verses that you're like, ooh, I didn't see that coming. That's why like the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand was such like a groundbreaking song, because it's just like, they go to that. And when I touch you, I feel happy. And it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. That's cool musically. Well, I think it's like, I mean, I'm gonna sound like, again, and I'm not old, but like even when I was young, I sounded old when I said, but like I remember there was a song called Black and Yellow that came out like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah, 2010, I believe. 2009, 2010.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember the movie. Remember the Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp, the Tim Burton one.
Yes.
It was the person I was with. I remember being with them, and that came on the radio when we were in their car driving to that movie, and I was Wiz Khalifa. Yeah. And I'm just like, hold on, let's copy this link. Copy.
Oh, Matthew. Hey, man.
But anyways, and I was just like, what? It's just you're just yelling the same 3 words over and over and over again. And again, you could say that about a lot of songs, but I just think there was better craftsmanship prior to computers. I think computers have made people lazy, to be honest. More creative in some ways. They're able to do things faster and better than they had before. But overall, I think, unfortunately, it's just because it's like, well, you got auto-tune and you got, it's like, I don't need to learn how to play the organ, and spend 10 years honing that craft you know, and really have your own take on playing an organ.
Right.
You know? I got this. I could show you sometime off air, but like, you just plug a MIDI board in, and you just play. Okay, well, the song's in C, 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 F, 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 G, 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 F, 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 C, 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 and then it's like, okay, I want to add a little riff to it. You go in there and you just go bum 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 bum, and then you just move these things around like what's that game with the blocks where you gotta like Tetris. Literally moving this shit like Tetris on your computer screen. And it's just like, there's no, it's just, that's why music sounds artificial. It sounds artificial because it is artificial. Just like the new Top Gun movie. You know why that movie felt real? Because Tom Cruise was really flying those fucking airplanes. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So,
all right, let's go to the list.
When we talk about like, and it's a good point, because when you think about like Ray, and I know it was a movie, but when you think about how Ray Charles created his album and had the music and had, you know, the instruments there, and, you know, and I feel like the older musicians were musicians that sang. Now we have singers and we have just songwriters, and you have people that don't even write their own stuff. So I'm not judging one way or the other.
Well, that's always been a thing. Elvis never wrote any of his own stuff, you know. But Chuck Berry wrote all of his songs.
Right. And but I think
you were talking about Ray Charles.
Yeah.
Dude, what a
he's so talented.
What a talent. You know. And you know, again, to be blind and
you're doing it all off of feel, off of how, I mean, yes, I know he can hear, but so much, like I was playing the game, would you rather be blind or be deaf? And I've always said I'd always rather be able to see.
Really?
Yeah, I think not being able to see would be worse than being deaf.
See, my mind automatically goes to, I wonder, where are they at with the progress in being able to replace people's eyes? You know how, like, when you die, you can donate your body to science? Like, how far away are they from, hey, we can literally cure blindness. When people die, we can take their eyes and put them in your body.
Yeah, and attach the cornea and all that stuff. And,
sure.
Yeah, because it's really, I'm oversimplifying it, but for most, it's really one kind of connective vessel, and that connects your brain to your eyes, so you can take in the images.
Yeah.
Because crazy story, when I got my LASIK done for my eyes, because I used to wear glasses, there's a point when they use a laser and they cut your cornea, and they flip it out. They flip the cornea up, and they flip the retina out, and they smooth your cornea, and then they flip it back down. So for that second, when they flip the cornea up, everything was all white. So
wow,
so nuts. And this is 2004, 2005 when I think I got it done. Hello, Mr. Kim. It's corporate influence. It is. All mass music is mass produced now, but real music still exists. They just don't get paid.
Well, we make some money.
Yes.
But yeah, with the wrap up the eye thing real quick, because I do want to talk about music.
No, we can talk about whatever.
I don't know where we're at in terms of being able to do that on the regular, you know. And I finally saw. I didn't want to watch it when it came out because I kind of knew what it was about, but that now I can't remember. Oh, the Sound of Metal with drummer. And I finally watched it this spring, and it was like watching a horror movie. Like, I mean, I was scared out of my fucking, like, I couldn't imagine being totally deaf.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be honest, I would jump off a fucking 40-story building. Would not even give it a second thought.
I think that goes to what you do, though. I think because you're a musician and how much you value being able to hear that way, you know, I'm a writer and I like to read, so I think that goes directly to what we do.
Sure. I want to know how far away we are from being able to take out people's eardrums and replace their eardrums. You know, where are we with this stuff? Those are the questions that, you know, again, I think everybody's like, oh, let's cure cancer. Sure, I'm for that. Sounds great.
Yeah.
But there are other things that we know are possible, like replacing eyes, replacing ears. I mean, think about it. You know, we have, as humans, we have created so many things. And like, you know, knee surgery is like outpatient now. You go in there, get your whole fucking knee replaced. They take all the shit out, I think they're plastic or metal or something like that.
Yeah.
Put it in there. And, you know, I've bad knees run on my mom's side of the family. So I know a lot of people that have had knee surgery. And, you know, some of the stories I've heard, like they were walking up the stairs to go to bed that night. You know, it's like, so where are we with, yes, curing cancer sounds great. I'm all for it. But like, I mean, could you imagine if they were able to cut blindness down by 50%, cut deafness down by 50%, nationwide or worldwide?
Well, so when it comes to your eyes, and I'm again oversimplifying, this is not a medical perspective.
Sure.
It's just how your light concaves images and your eyeball brings the light in that you can see images. Like super simple, right? So you think about it, you watch these shows where they're emulating like open heart stuff like that. If you can have your heart outside of your body still live, then, you know, I think a lot of this stuff is possible. We just don't know about it.
Again, it's like you had me rant at the beginning of your logo file yesterday, and you know, it goes back to that same kind of idea of everybody's got you looking over here, and that's great. But why are we also not exploring these other avenues that, you know, could possibly be solved sooner, that aren't as, you know, again, curing cancer, that's a big statement because you're talking about every single kind that's out there.
Right.
You know, and it's like, well, it's a little more complicated. But being able to success, if they came out on the news next week and said, we figured it out.
Right.
You know, you need new eyes. I would go talk to your, you know, uncle that's 80 years old and dying. You can get his eyes. And they're not going to be perfect. You'll probably have to wear glasses.
Yeah.
But you can see.
Yeah. But a lot of this stuff that's man-made isn't perfect. It's not.
Sure.
It's not infallible. Do you know what I mean? If you were somehow able to take like Cyborg, if you were able to manufacture body parts, and again, all you have to do is emulate your body being able to bring in the concaves of the light so that you can formulate images. Does it have to be perfect? No. Are you telling me there's no way they have night radar and sonar and night vision? They have all of that. You tell me there's no way they can be like, all right, let's figure out how to, you know, help your vision.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, not my grandma's. I said I use an example of an uncle, but I basically saying that, you know, again, this might sound a little morbid, but even for the funeral, their eyelids are shut. So yeah. I understand people that like don't want to donate their organ, you know, like they want to donate their organs or whatever, right? So like, you know, they cut them open, they stitch it back up because they're in a suit, a dress or something in the casket. So like,
right,
you don't see that, you know, you don't see your eyes either. And I know again that there are, you know, people donate their bodies or their eyes to things or whatever, but it's not like LASIK.
Right.
We're like, oh, hey, you need new eyes? You know, you want to come in for outpatient surgery? You know.
And it's crazy because LASIK, because from when I got it, and Patty got it 2 years ago. When I got it in 2005, it was so different. A big machine. I had to go into New York, into Manhattan, and now it was just like, oh yeah, 20-minute ride, in and out, 2 hours, you're done, and it's just like,
right.
This is so crazy. But I know we'll talk about music, or we won't, whatever. So you saw the video. Did you watch the video I sent you about them trying to make a real Iron Man suit?
Oh yeah, from Jerry.
Yeah. So they were talking about, and this is along the same lines of what you're talking about. They have functioning Iron Man suits.
Yeah.
He said the biggest problem is transportation because some of them weigh 1,000 pounds. That's
go back and look at Iron Man 1. Remember how big some of those like test suits were?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We're 10 to 20 years away from being able to fly. I mean, if you're theoretically in an Iron Man suit type situation, that's not, heavy and, you can move around, you could be able to fly. Yeah. And that's fucking crazy. And I want one of those. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not going to be heroes that have these suits, but it's going to be billionaires and the government.
Well, that's what's going to happen. They're going to develop it first, and then it'll eventually come down to the people who need it. Because the people who push the envelope. Because if you watch all these movies about people doing stuff illegally, and I'm not. So, what was the Invisible Man movie remake that just came out?
I haven't seen it. The Elizabeth Moss one.
What's the name of it?
The Invisible Man.
No, there's one after it, I thought.
Well, there's no sequel to it.
No, I can't remember the name of it. It could be The Invisible Man. So it's the idea that I'm pushing the edge, I'm pushing the limit,
sure.
And I'm not being held back. So I might have to cut corners and stuff, but I'm going to push it till I get there, and then that's how you become so advanced, right. And that's how you push that limit. So. And they were saying that with the Iron Man outfits that they're using exoskeletons now, which is crazy. And they have ones that run on hydraulics that aren't motorized at all. Then they have ones that are more motorized, and it's just like, well, how far are we from a full suit that just opens up, you hop in, because the technology is going to be there eventually.
And you're off.
Yeah.
We won't need cars.
Yeah.
Realistically, before they're mass produced for the market, I'd say 30 years.
I can see that. Because I feel like every year we progress faster than the year before.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because think about from your first cell phone, your first iPhone, or your first flip phone. I had mine when I was 22. So 20 years ago, it was a big block. Now, it's face recognition and fingertip recognition, and it's all touch.
Not only that, it's literally should be attached to your body. Like everybody should be given. I mean, again, Apple's not going to make any money then, but smartphones should be for everybody because you literally have a disadvantage in life without one. So yeah, it's crazy. I mean, and if you stop and think about it, like the telephone was invented, I want to say like in the 1880s or something like that, 1890s. Mm-hmm. And I know when long distance came out, like that was a big thing, but basically for, I don't know, I would say 80 years, 90 years, they had a cord. 80 years they had a cord, and the cordless phone, I want to say, came out in the 80s. That sounds right. And the first like car phones were in the 80s, and the first like cell phones, like cellular phones, were like 80s, 90s. But for 80 years, other than the invention of long distance, and yes, I think towards, I want to say in the early 70s is when they got the push button dials. They weren't all rotary. dials. But I mean, prior to that, you would just call and go, operator, okay, give me blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have the dials on them. You
Yeah.
know? It's crazy though. But
Yeah.
think about how, to your point, how many years went by where that was the only option, more or less. And then over the last, from the 80s to the early 2000s, cell phones became a normal thing. And to make phone calls, cellular phone calls. And then in the last 20 years, between texting and literally this is your whole life. Because once I started to do the texts, well, now it's more than just a phone. It's a communication device.
Yeah.
And now it's like.
And don't forget about FaceTiming, and don't forget about like all the other stuff you can do with the phone.
And that's just been, dude, even 5 years ago, FaceTime was not what it is now.
No, you can FaceTime 4 or 5 people, so you could do all. You could literally just have a phone and do all of your work functions.
Exactly.
And
I'm waiting for the Star Wars like hologram thing or whatever, where like you put your phone into a dock, and like what is equivalency to the size of this MacBook opens up, and you can do all your work, but this is the server, this is the hard drive. You know,
they have body modifications that people put stuff under their skin so they can connect to devices. So I mean, how far is that? When and it sounds crazy, but putting chips. If you think about it, if you just had a chip in your shoulder, in your arm, in your wrist, where you just like you didn't even need the phone. It was I don't know if you watched Black Mirror at all, but there's the episode when they had the crazy contact. Oh, even the Batman, when they had the contact lenses. You tell me that technology.
I can't wait.
Of course. You imagine putting a contact in and being able to do everything you do with your phone.
Yeah. And have night vision.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I could go jogging in the middle of the woods at nighttime and be totally fine.
Yeah. It would, and this is what enhances humans, and it's the whole, it's like the whole concept of what the predator is. The predator has these things, these mechanical advancements that just make it enhanced. Yes, it's a big creature and all that stuff, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. But, you find a way to equal the playing ground.
Exactly.
I give you an exoskeleton or something, and then, you're infinitely stronger and you're faster, and, you put rocket boosters on and you can fly. Or even if you don't fly, well, you can just catch wind currents. You could glide. You don't necessarily need to be able to fly to get place to place. It's crazy the developments they have.
Could you imagine just being able to go 10 feet off the ground?
Oh, that'd be scary. That'd be crazy. But yeah. And then it would be so normalized.
You wouldn't need ladders.
Yeah.
Just
floating to the top of your house, get the suit that has the tools built in, blah, 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 and then, just kind of float down.
And honestly, I think it would totally change how we look at houses, because again, a lot of them, the way the roofs are styled, or roofs, however you want to pronounce it, are styled. It's like, that's unused real estate. Sometimes in the summertime, I pull my ladder out, I climb up on my roof, and I lay out there because it's a great way to get a tan, blah, 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 blah. I can't wait till the days where they figure out, okay, why don't we flatten them a little bit so we can float up there, have a barbecue. Now you got more room in your backyard.
All you got to do is reinforce it more. And most people can stand on it, but it's not really made for a lot of people to stand on it. We're not going to have a... No, I'm agreeing with you. What you would have to do is change some of the logistics of it, or maybe the material it's made from, and support it differently, because how many houses have one bar that supports the whole house? One bar.
You're totally... We're on the same page. 100%. 5 feet. If you go 5 feet off the ground, just all the time.
Yeah. I mean, look at something simple like running sneakers and how light they are and how aerodynamic, where it doesn't feel like you have anything on your feet.
Right.
And can you imagine if you had Usain Bolt sneakers versus your sneakers? The difference?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
You would be so much faster and so much.
100%. 100%. I wear Nikes. I'm a Nike guy.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, when you put a new pair on and they're good, and then the tread starts wearing down on them, and it's like, all right, well, time to get a new pair. PSA, I think 500 miles. They say you should put on your shoes before. They might look fine, but they're worn down enough.
500 miles?
500 miles. That's what I'm doing. But that's if you're into, exercise and all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's got to do with how long they assume those shoes have been on, and like the cushioning, kind of less cushiony. It's just like a couch. Like the couch I have is almost 3 years old, and it's not as firm as when I first got it. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's wild. Let's go over this music list real quick, because I'm curious. I'm very curious to see a few more of these. So for those of you following along, I threw the link in the live chat, so you can check it out there. But like,
so this is the end of year Billboard's Hot 100 songs. So this is the end of 2021, the songs that were top 100. So we have one, Levitating. I think I've heard it before because I know who Dua is, Dua Lipa. If I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry.
Never even heard of her.
I've heard of her. She's a good singer. The Weeknd and Ariana Grande. You know The Weeknd, you know Ariana Grande. Save Your Tears. I don't know if I heard the song. What I find with Ariana is a lot of her stuff starts to sound similar.
Well, I don't really think she's that talented. I just think she's highly attractive.
You know what it is? So, sidebar, because I've watched it grow up on like Sam and Cat with my kids, I see her like that.
Okay.
Like I don't see her as this, grown woman sexual object. Not that she's not pretty or anything, but I still see that. I'm just like, what's Cat doing? Well, what's he doing?
Right.
So, Save Your Tears. I don't know that song. Blinding Lights. You said you know it by The Weeknd?
I know Blinding Lights, yeah.
Number 4. 24 Karat Gold featuring Ian Dorr. Mood. I don't know. Do you know that one?
No, I've never heard of that song.
Olivia Rodrigo, number 5. I've heard that song, Good For You. She's a good singer. She's got a really good voice. I would check her out. Oh, you know this song. Kiss Me More.
I don't.
You do.
I'll go listen to it when we're done, because I don't recognize that. Would you sing it again? Kiss me more, like that?
Yeah. If you hear it, you'll be like, oh, I'm not a singer. Side note.
Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic,
which is Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. That song you would like. That song's a vibe. That's a really good song.
Okay.
Olivia Rodrigo again, Driver License.
I know who she is, but I've never heard the song.
Yes, she's really talented. Montero, Call Me By Your Name, Little Nas X. I know Little Nas X. I don't know Call Me By Your Name. I've only heard the one song by him.
Yeah. One of the worst country songs ever.
You love Little Nas X.
Nope.
And Peaches. You've heard Peaches. I know. I'll be highly disappointed if you haven't heard Peaches.
Maybe.
I made out of California.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through this list right now, and I'm just like. But again, to be blunt, it's not like, oh, this makes me feel old, because when I was 20, I would go through the Billboard Hot 100 and I would know maybe like 5 of the songs, six of the songs, because again, outside influences, like so and so who I'm with, they're blah 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 blah. They had the pop station on and they're like, oh, this is a good song. That's it. But I've always been that way, So
Luke Combs is a country singer, right?
He is.
Number 18, Forever After All.
I know. I saw. I don't know it though. Like I know when his first record came out, I listened to it, but
Ed Sheehan, you don't know that song, Bad Habits? I know you know him.
I know who he is, but I'm not familiar with that song, no.
All right, sir. We got to finish diving into this list. Maybe we'll get 2022 soon.
Well, yeah, and I'll say this about that. It's like, okay, those are the most popular songs because those are the ones that are played on the radio, and those are the ones that are on TikTok and yada yada yada. But I think it would be a much different list if you looked at the best songs of 2021, because it would be a combination of thought-provoking, good tunes and a little bit of popular stuff, and a little bit more of a grab bag. So
yeah, I think excuse me, I think those are the most popular artists too. Rob is so out of his out. That's very true, Leonard Kim. Very true. All right, Rob. Thank you.
That being said, I think go ahead. Do your thing.
All right, sir. And thank you for chatting.
Yep.
We shall do this again. All right.
Take it easy, guys.
Neighbors, countrymen, lend me your ears. Our guest has arrived. Ms. Bourgeois herself. She is a FNP, a nurse practitioner. I have known her probably a good, at this point, 10 years, 11 years. I knew her before she was a single mom. I knew her before she was a nurse. She was, I think, getting her LP. Her LPN. Her LPN. I think she was getting her LPN when I first met her. She'll correct me because that's what she does. Good friend, a very accomplished young lady at the ripe young age of 21 or 22. She's older, but I don't know how old she is anymore. I would like to welcome the exalted one, the bourgeois one, the creme de la creme, Miss Shelisha Roach.
Hi.
Oh, how you doing?
Oh, just peachy.
Oh, good. So, good day, good trip. You ready to go? You ready to take flight?
Yeah, just got back to the hotel.
Okay.
Got work in the morning. So,
You always got work. You
yeah,
work.
no, I was not in LPN school. I was never an LPN. I was in
What were
RN
you?
school when we met. I was actually not even. I had just finished my bachelor's, my bachelor's of science when I started working there, and then I got into the RN program while working there.
Okay. Oh, I wasn't sure your road to the LPN. I mean, RN. So, all right. First question, Miss Roach. You ready?
I'm ready. You have Nurse Joker?
Yep. You didn't see Dark Knight?
No.
When you didn't see Dark Knight when he was dressed up like the nurse?
No.
Oh, that's a social faux pas. Hold on. I'll have to send it to you so you can see it. All right, people. I'm sorry. Nurse Joker. Oh, you got your gun ready? She's loading her gun up, people.
No, I'm trying to put my eyeballs on. I can't see.
Oh, okay. All right. So, first question. If you could be a werewolf, a wolf, a zombie, a ghost, a vampire, a witch, or a serial killer, which would you be and why?
Well, I think I'm already a vampire, if you ask my son.
Okay.
Because that's just my job. I'm always taking someone's blood. I can basically get blood from a stone at this point. So I feel like it's just fitting with my job title that I would be a vampire.
Okay. I like it. Was one of the great comedy. So I like it, a vampire. What would Micah be? Micah is her darling, amazing son.
He would probably be a werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
He was telling me a story about a werewolf the other day, so I think that would probably be fitting with this.
Okay, I like it.
He was telling me that he watched someone get eaten by a werewolf, and he did not help them. He just watched. He said because it was a wolf, and why would I help them, mommy? Because the wolf is gonna get me, so I just watched.
Oh, your child. So
yeah.
So you've done a lot of school, about 30 years or something like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. What was it like? We're gonna start early. What was it like growing up, Shelisha? And what does your name mean?
My name means my mom was very creative.
Uh-huh.
Well, actually, my cousin named me. What was it like growing up being me? Let's see. I got teased a lot for my last name.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started making the joke so that it wouldn't be fun for people to tease me anymore. I've just always been self-motivated and dedicated. I mean, growing up, I didn't really have like the most support from both parents. You know, I had my mom there. She was a single mom also. So everything was just my mom and us. Me being the oldest of four, I had a lot of responsibility at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew that because of all the people doubting me, all the people around me doubting me, I had to do what I had to do to prove them wrong. I'm a very self-motivated person because of that. So if you tell me I can't do something, that's just daring me to do it.
Mm-hmm. I got it. So you had a lot of people doubting you. What was the
Not
biggest?
necessarily a lot of people doubting me, but people that should have been close to me, like for example, my stepfather. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's stuff like he wouldn't help my sister and I with our homework because, well, if they grew up to be like Venus and Serena Williams, then they're not gonna look at me because I'm not their biological father. And it's like, well, why would you think like that?
Oh.
So
Did
now
you
I
guys?
had to make sure that I proved a point and became like Venus and Serena Williams within my own realm.
Mm. Did you guys have a close relationship? Do you have a close relationship?
With my stepfather?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, he's dead now,
Did you?
but we were never close. But life just has a funny way of going full circle. And he ended up dying of COVID in 2020. And I was still in my NP program at that time, but I was able to use my training skills and expertise to help him prior to him dying. And even after he died, I did CPR on him for 20 minutes and stuff like that. Like life just has a funny way of coming full circle and making you eat your words. So that kind of gave me my own sense of satisfaction to know that like even when he was alive, when I graduated top of my class in high school, I was able to post that on my refrigerator. That stayed on my refrigerator probably the whole time I was in undergrad with my name highlighted. I was in the top 25 and the top 10 of my graduating class in high school. Then I graduated with my bachelor's from SUNY Albany in 3 years. And then I went to nursing school and I got pregnant during nursing school with my son and I still finished on time. And then I did my BSN and I just kept going. So it was just like, oh, you doubted me. You thought, oh, my mom can't afford that school. But guess what? I went there. I graduated. Look at me now.
Look at you. Go ahead, talk your shit, girl. I see you. So, my daughter actually, I don't know why, but is going to be doing a BOCES program where she does the LPN. So next year she's going to be a senior, and she's going to start her first year of school. And then her second year of school is going to be her first year of college.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see little young black girls, because she's a young black girl,
I hope so.
what do you tell them? What words of wisdom do you?
My advice and my words of wisdom is to go for it. A lot of people say, oh, well, should I waste time with the LPN program? I would say if you're already a grown adult and you have children, me personally, and everybody has their own issues and their own barriers that prevents them from doing what they want to do. But I always say that they should definitely go for it. I personally advise someone in your daughter's situation where she's in high school and she can do the LPN program, because not for nothing, by the time she graduates from the LPN program, she'll be 19, 20 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll be young, making great money. And as long as she's not going to be
I can
stagnant,
borrow some. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
as long as she's not going to be stagnant and continue to go forward, I totally agree with that. For someone who's like my age and they're considering it, I personally would tell them, if you can afford to go straight for the RN, go for it, because not for nothing, but if you're my age and you have kids, the money you're going to make as an LPN, you're still not really going to be, you're still going to be struggling. And you're going to put that money into it, and then you're going to still have to go to school for another 2 years to become an RN. And that's just to get your associates in nursing. Then you have to do another 2 years to get your bachelor's. So it's like it takes you 6 years to become an RN. And if you already have a couple of kids, that's going to be rough. It's a lot. I can tell you, because I did it with one. And I was already in the program when I did it with one. I was making, I was making $12 an hour with the one kid, and it was rough. I was struggling. And then when I graduated and I got that first job and my salary literally tripled, I didn't know what to do with myself. I thought I was making so much money. And now I look back on it, somebody tried to offer me that. Now I'm looking at them like, you crazy? Even as an NP, these jobs, they want to offer you. Right. They trying to offer me these jobs. I was talking to someone the other day. I was like, honestly, I don't even want to get paid that much. As long as I'm making my 115. She's like, 115 what? I'm like, a year. She said, I don't even make that. Girl, what? You've been in this place for 2 years and you're not making 115 a year? We got a problem.
So let's talk about that real quick. Nurses make money, and I always say that that's a job. I don't know why people would want to do it. I'm not knocking you. I'm giving you praise, because nurses do like 85 to 90% of the work everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the money work? Is it, do you see the overtime money and feel it? Do you see people that are just like,
So it really depends. I feel like my perspective as far as the money has changed now doing travel nursing. Just for example, in 2020, travel nursing is when you work for a company. So you're contracted at a hospital for a set amount of time. And after that time passes, it's usually 13 weeks. That's pretty much standard. After that time passes, you can either renew, or you can go about your business and get a better paying contract, or you can take time off. So I've been doing travel nursing since July of 2020.
You've been doing it?
I wasn't, yeah.
I started 2 years ago. Oh, that's what's up.
But I wasn't taking contracts that are like the one that I'm on now. Like all my contracts before, I always stayed local, and I would go back and forth home every day. So like my hospital would change every 3 months or so, but I would still work for the same company. But yeah, with the world of travel nursing, nurses really have especially with the pandemic, nurses really have the power to literally demand what they want and get paid what they want, because a lot of people quit their staff jobs for travel nursing. So now I feel like now is a good time to go back to being a staff nurse, because you can name your salary almost, because they don't have anybody. But at the same time, you have to be smart in what you're doing. So like even right now, the contract that I'm on, they told us earlier this week that they're lowering our rate, and everybody's like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I'm gonna find another contract somewhere else." And it's like, yeah, you can do that, but with the COVID rates being at where they are, there's no higher. I mean, not right now, at least. Maybe in a couple of weeks, if the COVID rates keep going up, and people are getting sicker, then maybe the pay rates will go higher. But right now, they're not really. You're not gonna get anything better. If you get anything, it'll be like a strike contract that'll last maybe a week or two, and then you go back to not having anything. But we've been here for so long that there's people like, I'm taking the summer off, because as soon as it comes back time for the fall and the winter, the COVID rates are going to go right back up and everything goes back indoors, and they can go right back to making the money. So that's the beautiful thing about travel nursing. And I feel like that's changed my perspective, because like 2020, I made $89,000 and I thought I was making money. I look at how much I made last year.
Hold on, let me write it down. You made how much?
All right, we're not doing that.
Oh, okay. You can text me.
And now I look at how much I made last year, and I was like, oh, yeah, nah, for these NP jobs, nope, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not accepting. I accepted this one job at one first, and they were offering me $102,000, and I was like, no, I'm making more than that as an RN. And I was just talking. I wasn't even really calculating how much I was making as an RN. Then when I got my W-2s and I saw how much I made last year, I said, I'm definitely not accepting 102. Like, y'all got to do better than that. Because for all of that, what's the incentive for me besides the fact that I don't want my degree to be an expensive piece of wallpaper, what is my incentive to want to do this job? I'm going to start over from the bottom where I don't know anything and I feel lost and confused. And I'm going to go home every day hating my job because I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm not even getting compensated well. Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Not doing that at all.
If you could have your druthers and you could say, all right, I can go to any hospital in New York and then we'll do the world or whatever, United States. But any hospital in New York, what department would you want to work in and what hospital would it be?
Honestly, I don't want to work in a hospital anymore. I want to do outpatient because I'm tired of the long hours and not having a routine with my son. Like, he really needs me to be home and have a routine. I much rather do 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends, no holidays, and call it a day. And a lot of people are like, oh, you're crazy. No, give me my 3 days. Mm-mm. I have a better quality of life when I work my 5 days a week, 8 hours, than when I work the long hours.
Okay. So you don't want to go back to being a nurse. So staff nurse, going back to being a staff nurse is out. You dubbed that.
Totally out.
Okay.
Totally out.
So you're going to stay being a travel nurse. What's something you learned while you were working in a hospital about yourself?
Oh, I have learned that despite the fact that I feel like I'm freaking out and panicking on the inside, on the outside, I managed to keep a calm demeanor. And so I find myself I end up taking on, not even voluntarily, taking on the most difficult cases, the most difficult situations, because everyone's like, oh, but you're good at it. And I'm like, okay, but you're not going to be good at it if you don't actually practice and learn how to deal with the situation. So I'm always the one that ends up in these crazy situations, like, the pediatric rape or the domestic violence and stuff like that. It's always me that has to deal with it. And I'm like, it's mentally exhausting. It's mentally draining. They're like, but you were so good. You stayed so calm. You kept the patient calm. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I'm tired of that.
What's the hardest part of dealing with? I'm assuming you're dealing with a lot of ladies in these situations. What's the hardest part about dealing with somebody who's going through a bad domestic violence situation?
The hardest part about it, I think, is keeping yourself calm enough to keep the patient calm. Because if you're not calm, then they're gonna feed off of that and they're gonna panic. And that's why it's like I will be panicking on the inside, like totally scared, like fighting back tears. And everybody's like, oh my God, you were so good with that situation. Like, it's actually happened and it was very scary. The person that was doing this to this young girl, she was gang affiliated, and they had people coming to the hospital pretending to be patients to try to track the girl to see where she was. And it got really bad. We had to call the police, and it was just crazy. And we had to stop seeing patients for a while because we didn't know who was who, and it was like a huge safety issue. Then when we weren't bringing them in, they started getting anxious outside because they saw the police come in. And they were trying to bang down the door. It was crazy. It was a completely crazy situation. We had to escort the girl out with the police, and I'm terrified. I'm like, I'm not going outside because I don't know who's outside with a gun waiting. I'm not trying to get shot because of you. Like, I'm sorry, but I got a kid to go home to. Like, this is not it's like a not my monkey, not my circus type situation.
Yeah.
So I walked this girl to the front of the hospital with the cops, and when we got to the front of the hospital, we got to the door, and I was like, all right, well, good luck. Take care. Hope everything works well for you. She looked at me like, you're not coming with me? Girl, no, I'm not. But the look of terror and fear in her face, I actually walked her to the police car. And when I tell you I was so terrified, we're walking out the hospital, and there's somebody walking up towards us, and the officers asked me, do you know this person? Is this one of the people that's looking for her? Is this a worker? And I'm like, I don't know who this person is. And I'm like, try not to make eye contact, try not to look around. Running. Meanwhile, there's a train line up there. You don't know who's standing on that train line with a gun. It was really scary. My heart rate was literally at 200 for about 2 hours after that, and it was just crazy because then you still had the people in the waiting room looking for her. They didn't know she wasn't there, and that they were looking for her because they would walk up to the bed that she was in, or when they walked past it from the other side, they would be looking to try to find her. And it was insane. I don't know whatever happened because, once she left, I never saw or heard from her again. But it was just, it's terrifying. It's really terrifying. You just pray for the best. and hope that she doesn't go back to that person and put herself back in a situation where that person doesn't find her, because she was like, well, they're very well connected and they know people. So it's just, yeah, it's scary. It's very scary. I've never had to deal with anything like that. When you work on Long Island, you don't really deal with situations like that. It's those things are far and few between. But when you're working in the boroughs, anything happens. It's a free for all. It really is a free for all.
One of the things that you deal with I deal with as a therapist is, how do you leave it? How do you leave those feelings and that scared and that fright and those emotions? How do you leave that in the hospital and not take
I personally don't. And that's part of the reason why I'm like, I don't want to be at the bedside anymore, because it's just too mentally draining for me. It takes a while for me to like I still think about that girl. I have never forgot her name. I still think about her. Like, I hear about somebody, getting killed. I'm like listening for the name, like, oh my God, was it her? Like, from time to time, I search her name on Google to see like if I see anything about her passing, because I really do think about her. Like, those things don't just, I have a hard time letting go. So it's just mentally draining for me. And that's why I'm like, I'm just tired of being at the bedside. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. And I just want to be with my kid and, go to work, see my patients during the day, yell at them for not taking their blood pressure medication or not eating what they're supposed to eat when they're diabetic, and then go home. Because then at least that way, God forbid something happens to them, I know I did everything that I could do, and it's your fault why whatever happened to you happened to you. You should have took your blood thinner, otherwise you wouldn't have had that stroke. That's not my fault. And that's really the point I'm at now. I'm exhausted. I think if I worked like, say, med surge or somewhere else, I wouldn't be as mentally exhausted as I am. But working in the ER, especially where I am now, we have so many young kids getting killed, like shot, stabbed, and it's just crazy. And it's like 95% of the time is gang affiliated. And it's like these people are not even 25. Like, some of them are not even 20. And it's just it's crazy. It really is crazy.
All right, let's switch gears for a minute. We'll come back to the nurse. What is Micah like?
That little boy. Micah is just something else. I don't know. He keeps me busy, keeps me on my toes. He keeps telling people I'm pregnant, and I'm not. Then he has the nerve to ask me, well, mommy, what does pregnant mean? Don't ask me. You just said I'm pregnant. So if you know I'm pregnant, then what does that mean? You tell me what that means.
He want a little brother, a little sister.
He wants both. He tells people I'm pregnant with twins, a boy and a girl. Right. So yeah, Micah is something else. He's getting ready to graduate from kindergarten. He's going to first grade.
Oh, look at him.
He's also about to be promoted at Kung Fu to a yellow belt. So he's doing his thing. Even me being away from him is a big adjustment for him. But I think now, after 4 months, he's finally getting used to it. For a while, my schedule was I was off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So one week, he was like, Mommy, why aren't you coming home tonight? I'm like, because I have to work tomorrow. He's like, well, Mommy, you're supposed to be off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Why aren't you off, Mommy? I'm like, because I'm not. Like, I have to work.
Your little husband G-checking you.
Yeah, he tells me when I'm supposed to come home. He's like, Mommy, I want you to come home on this day. All right, well, that's nice, but Mommy has to work. Mommy has to make money. And I tell him, like, I explain it to him. I break it down. Listen, Mommy has to make money so that she can buy a house so we can have somewhere to live. He doesn't like that we have a shower where we live now. So I'm like, if you want a tub, then Mommy has to buy a house and Mommy has to work to do that. So, like, even earlier, we were at a birthday party and he didn't want to leave. I'm like, well, Mommy has to go to work. So if Mommy has to go to work to do what? He's like, to buy a house. I'm like, okay, so how do I do that? He's like, you got to work more. I'm like, okay, so I'm glad you know that. Now put a smile on your face because it's time to go.
So. What is your parenting philosophy as a single mother that works 9 million hours as a nurse with a draining job that, takes every ounce of your soul?
My parenting philosophy. What exactly do you mean by that?
What do I mean? How do you approach parenting? So, you seem to be doing a lot. So it seems single mother is the most adept description. So how do you approach that? How do you approach balancing work and balancing, being a mom? Because even if you're not there every day, you're still probably talking to him and FaceTiming and all that stuff.
Yes. So, let's see. So it's not I have somewhat of a laissez-faire type approach, but not really. Because if you know me, you know I'm very strict with him. Um, I'm strict with him, but I pick and choose my battles. Like the other day, his backpack got locked into my car, so he wasn't able to bring the backpack to school. Okay, fine.
Oh.
My mom has the spare key, but she wasn't the one that brought them home. Or I think she did bring them home, but I didn't tell them that the backpack was in the car. Whatever the case may be, it was Tuesday morning and he didn't have his backpack. So I'm like, okay, well, there's another backpack in the house. Just let him bring that. Make sure he has pencils, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got the backpack out the car, and they were arguing over whether or not he could bring the backpack that I told him to bring for the day, or if he has to bring the regular backpack. Who cares? It's a backpack. Just let him bring the backpack to school. Like, why are you guys fighting over this right now? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. You really think I give a shit which backpack he uses? Like, it's not that serious. And I was talking to my mom about it today, and I'm like, she's like, well, you're telling him one thing, and she's telling him something else. I'm like, well, I'm his mother, and what I say is what goes, first of all. And you guys can't pick and choose when you're going to listen to what I say. Because when he misbehaves and I tell you to take away the TV and the phone and all the electronics, you give it to him because otherwise he's going to cry. But now when it comes on a backpack, oh, well, you can't let him do what he wants. It doesn't make sense. So when it comes on to like silly little things like that, I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to fight with you over that. There's bigger things in the world to fight over. Like, there are parents out there that wish their child was here to fight with them over which backpack they're in the school. Like, when you think about the parents in Texas and the parents from Sandy Hook and stuff like that, I'm not going to fight with you over that. But what I am going to fight with you over is that you're going to sit down and read this book for 15 damn minutes, because we ain't playing that. That's what we're not going to play with. You're going to sit down and you're going to do your schoolwork, and you're going to do what you got to do. You're going to get 100 on that spelling test, because if you don't, you're not going to the birthday party, and I'm taking your toys and I'm packing them up and I'm giving them away to someone else. So, or like when he has to practice his Kung Fu, and sometimes he doesn't want to practice. You want to become a black belt, you need to practice. So you're going to sit here and you're going to punch this punching bag for 15 minutes. He's like, well, mommy, that's so long. And he counts to 15 and he thinks that's 15 minutes. No, that's not how it works. We're going to set this timer and you're going to practice for 15 minutes, because, you know, being a single mom of a young man, it's hard and they need discipline. And Micah needs a lot of that because he's very all over the place. He's very active. Or as I like to say, he's very adventurous. So, you know, you have to keep on top of him, and, you know, otherwise he'll get himself into trouble. He'll do all kinds of things. And you ask him, well, why'd you do that? Because I was bored. You see how many books you got in that bookcase you could have read because you were bored? Like, you know.
Is it hard to discipline from a distance? Because you kind of have surrogate.
Yes, it is hard because they don't always do what I say. So lately, I've just gotten to the point now where it got to a point actually when they would complain to me about all the stuff that he was doing. And I said, all right, you know what? You guys are complaining. I'm telling you to take away this, to take away that. And then you tell me, oh, you don't want to do that because he's going to cry. Crying never killed anybody. But since you don't want to do that, if that's the case, then guess what? I'm going to come home and I won't work and you guys won't get paid for watching him. And that'll be that.
Never killed anybody. I like it. It's true.
So, you know, after I said that, they stopped complaining about the stupid stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if he's not doing it or if they just stopped complaining about it. But when they thought about that, me not paying them, because I mean, not for nothing, I'm paying them $2,000 a month to watch my kid.
Right. Hold on. Side note, somebody who does daycare.
Yeah, but not overnight.
What did you ask?
Is that person gonna be able to get him on the bus in Amityville?
I guarantee you, if I ask Patty right now, she'll get him on the bus. She'll make him breakfast. She'll cut his hair. Listen. See? You don't ask.
Yeah, like that's really what I'm dealing with right now, and it's really frustrating. It really is. But
this is a separate babysitter, or is this somebody?
No, this is actually family.
We're gonna talk after. Don't worry, I got you.
But yeah. So aside from that, I mean, I am pretty good at putting the fear of God in him from a distance, because I've told him many times. He will call me or they'll call me and, oh, my kid doesn't want to do his homework. Like, I'll literally be in the middle of a code and my phone is ringing off the hook. I'm like, why did my phone keep ringing? After the code, I'll call back and I'm like, what? Oh, my kid doesn't want to do his homework. Are you kidding me? That's what you're calling me for? Mm-hmm. Okay, if he doesn't want to do his homework, maybe he's tired because he just got home from school. Like, let him take a nap, give him a break, and then let him do his homework in half an hour. Like, what's the difference between him doing it now and him doing it 30 minutes from now? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Again, pick and choose your battles. As long as the homework gets done, who cares what time it gets done? As long as it's done before it's time for him to go to bed, who cares? Give him a break. Like, sometimes you get home and you don't feel like cooking right away. So you sit down for a little bit and then you get up and you cook. It's the same way with kids. Like, kids are people. They're tiny humans and they have feelings too. Like, give them a chance.
Schedule.
So it's definitely.
Schedules and structure.
Right. And sometimes you have to be fluid and flexible because not everything is always going to go as according to plans. But like, if he is really doing something out of line, something he has no business doing, I've told him, there's been plenty of times where I told him, don't make me get on the train right now, come home, bust your ass, and come back to work. And he is like, okay, mommy. And then he doesn't want to talk to me anymore. He hangs up because he knows he's in the wrong. Whenever he gets in trouble, he's quick to hang the phone up, and that's it. I don't hear from him again for the rest of the night.
Oh, look at you.
But yeah, so I mean, it works.
It does work. Do you feel like it's been easier than you thought being a single mom, harder than you thought, or exactly what you expected? The shit show.
I think it has its ups and downs.
Okay.
As far as like me with this travel assignment, I think it's a little bit easier than I expected it to be because that was my biggest barrier with me taking an assignment like this from before. I don't think I would have survived doing an assignment out of state. So I'm grateful that the assignment that I got is local and I'm an hour train ride or Uber ride or whatever away. Like I said, it has its ups and downs because like there's times when, he's sick, I'm exhausted, or I have school or work or whatever, and I really don't have the time to be sitting in nobody's ER or waiting room at the doctor's office, but yet I have to do it, and I still have to turn around and make it to clinical hours or make it to work. Like last summer, I was basically running myself down. I was running myself down between working like 4 or 5 jobs, doing clinical hours, going to class. I had a kidney stone and I worked 2 12-hour shifts with a kidney stone. And then, then I started having GI issues, not even knowing that it was all stress related, like IBS related to stress. My fingers completely ulcerated and blisters. Didn't know what was causing that. I mean, part of it is an allergic reaction, but other part of it is stress. It's influenced by my stress, and I've seen it happen. I get upset within 30 minutes, my fingers break out in blisters. Like it's crazy. So that's also part of the reason why I just kind of let go with certain things. Like I'm not stressing about what backpack he uses. But we are going to fight over what shoes you're wearing to school because you're going to wear your school shoes because I didn't pay for these expensive ass school shoes for you not to wear them to school. Period. You're not wearing sneakers. We're not doing that.
Oh, we can't. He's not allowed to wear sneakers to school?
Well, he's wearing a suit, so I don't like that. Like, I love a man in a suit, and you better be dressed appropriately. You better have your dress shoes on and look like the top needs to match the bottom. Like, you wearing that blazer and that tie, and then you got on these dusty-ass black sneakers? No, we're not doing that. And I don't even think it's part of dress code either. Like, he can wear sneakers for gym, and that's it. But even if he's allowed to wear it, no, we're not doing that.
Oh, see, that's the black mama dress code. I got you.
Yeah. I'm not going to wear a suit with sneakers. Are you wearing a suit with sneakers to your wedding?
Yeah. Why
no, you're not. You did not do that to your wedding, so don't even play.
Oh, to my wedding?
To your wedding. Yes.
Oh, no, my wedding, there's certain times when I have to be bourgeois.
Exactly.
I'm not always bourgeois, but there's times when I have to be.
When you are my kid and you living in my house, you're going to act the part and dress
Mind
the part.
you, y'all, he only 5, so we don't know that. So when it comes to school and work, so you just graduated. Okay, give yourself some props. That's what's up. Congratulations.
I did. Thank you.
What is you got? I don't even know which degree you got this time. Like honestly, I can't keep up. I think
that was my master's. I have 4 college degrees, 2 bachelor's and associates, and now my master's. And I'm applying for my doctorate. If I would ever
You
submit
going
this
back to
application.
school?
Yeah, listen, I've always wanted to have DR in front of my name. And I'm not about to have these doctors out here with these acting a fool, making doctors look bad. I gotta come in and,
So,
make,
a doctor or a doctor of nursing?
doctor of nursing.
Okay. What do they do?
I don't want to be a medical doctor. Honestly, so as far as your role, it's pretty much the same as an NP. The only difference is you have doctor in front of your name. Like, I'm not doing it because it'll change what kind of jobs I can get. Right now, I can work in administration if I want to. I can teach if I want to. I can open my own practice if I wanted to. It really doesn't change anything. It's
Oh,
just that the
that's
end
right.
goal is to be a
See,
DNP.
if you met, so let me say, side note, Shelisha, if you met Asia is mean just like you. She a mean mommy just like you. A mean black mommy. Y'all gonna, I'm gonna have to link y'all because y'all sparing animals. Anyway, so the end goal is
My end goal is to be a DNP. I've always said I wanted to be a doctor.
mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I wanted to be a pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
And then I used to volunteer at Albany Medical Center when I went to SUNY Albany. And I was like, oh, I do not want to be a doctor. They don't do nothing. All they do is paperwork. I don't like that. I want to be more hands-on.
Okay.
And so then I decided maybe I'll do PA. And I was like, I shadowed a PA. She was like, listen, if I could do it all over again, I would go to nursing. It's like, you go work and go to school. You can take your time. Like, you know what? You're right. And then now, having spoken to PAs, and they, even the PA that I was talking to the other day, I was telling me she gets paid $89,000. I was like, well, she was like, not for nothing. The nurse practitioners get paid more than us because you have experience. You have patient experience. We come out of school, we don't know anything. So that gives you the upper hand. So I was like, okay. And then I found out that you could be a doctor of nursing. I was like, oh, actually, one of the I don't remember her name, but there was a DNP at the clinic that we would bring the guys to, and I was like, oh snap, you're an NP and a doctor. Okay, that's what I'm about to do.
So
And that's when
Andrea.
I decided. I don't know her name, whatever her name is.
Right,
That's when I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. And
hurry
it's
up.
really just a personal
Hurry
thing
up
for
so I
me.
can refer you to so we can set up this connect where I can be like, listen, I need you to I need you to get in psych so we can work this out. So I can
Yeah, I would
be
have to do a certificate in psych.
thank you. Because they honestly need psych doctors, nurses, MPs, because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, the mental health population is crazy, and that's what makes a lot of the stuff I'm dealing with at work so crazy. Because a lot of these people that's doing these things have mental health issues.
not diagnosed, probably not.
Yep, and some of them are diagnosed and they just don't take their meds.
Why would they? Meds aren't good for them. It's not. So how do you balance it all? Because now you're applying to school again, and you're going to be doing a traveling nurse. So now you said you take new contracts. Are you in the middle of taking a new contract, or are you in the middle of one? I'm sorry, are you about to take you're in the middle of one?
So I actually plan to leave travel nursing come September. I need to be home with my kid. I'm gonna stay on this contract that I am on. We start a new contract with this facility this Saturday coming. So once this contract is up, which is to be up beginning of August, I'm hoping to extend for a couple more weeks just so that I can get my house and get everything settled with that. And then after that, I'm taking an NP job. I'm gonna do a regular 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Where?
Maybe one Saturday a month. I don't know yet. I
Okay.
had a job and I had to put that off just because of my current living situation. But once everything settles down, I'll decide if I'm gonna go there or take something else. I thought it would be like when you apply to like a hospital where it takes forever to get through. And then I apply and people are calling me like I could have filled out an application tonight and they're calling me Monday morning first thing like, hey, so we want to set up an interview with you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I thought I had time. They're like, yeah, so can you start tomorrow? And I'm like, well, damn, like, why are you so eager to get me in there? That's not a good thing. I don't know what I'm getting myself
Well,
into.
there's a big need for nurses.
That's
A
yeah.
big, and this has been for years now. I want to say.
And then also too, a lot of the doctors, like a lot of doctors' offices is just one doctor, and then they have advanced practice providers, so PAs and NPs, because most doctors nowadays are not going into primary care because the student loans are so high. They need to have a specialty so they can make more to pay. So like people who's graduating from med school now, they're not going into primary care. And the thing about it, what's going to end up happening soon is that the world of primary care is going to end up being predominantly ran by NPs.
Isn't that what it is now?
No, I mean, there's still a decent amount of doctors. They're like older doctors, but
yeah, but I feel
soon
like
it's gonna be more NPs, and that's why it's so instrumental that New York passed the sole provider act not too long ago. So now NPs, once they get their, I think it's like 2,500 hours on their new grad, now they can work as a sole provider. They don't need a consulting physician anymore.
oh wow, that's
Whereas
big.
before you had to have a consulting physician even after you completed your hours. So that's something that's like good because you know you can have your own practice and you don't have to pay somebody to just sign off on your notes and whatever. You can do everything on your own.
Oh, good. I gotta see. I see you living. So how are you gonna find the balance?
I mean, I always tend to find a balance. I travel a lot. I do, you know, whether the travel is big or small, as far as like maybe something like a little road trip. Like last weekend, we went to Bethany Beach in Delaware.
Who's we?
And, you know, it was myself and a group of moms featuring 3 of the kids because it was a Mother's Day trip, but, you know,
nice.
single mom life. We had 3 of the kids with us. We did a massage, and it was a very unplugged, nice little like lakefront house. There were TVs in the house. We didn't even turn the TV on. Like we were very unplugged. We didn't even miss it. Like we didn't even realize that we didn't turn the TV on. So we came back home and turned the TV on. It's like, oh, I didn't watch TV all weekend. And you know, it was nice. It was very serene, very zen. Even with the kids, it was still relaxing. Like there was a pool. They were supposed to take the kids to the pool. Micah is not. If you know Micah, he loves to swim. He wanted to be in the water. He's like, Mommy, can we go to the beach or the pool? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go. We never made it. I was like, Mommy, if you don't cry, Mommy will buy you a toy. Like that was my bribe. Like, we're not gonna make it to the pool, but if you don't cry, I'll buy you a toy. He was like, okay. I said, you can pick whatever you want. And kids are so like innocent. You tell me I can pick whatever I want. I'm going to the store looking for the most expensive thing. Let me tell you, this boy walked into Old Navy like, Mommy, I want that bouncy ball. Oh, you want the bouncy ball for $25? Cool, no problem.
I respect it. Because you know, one day you're gonna be like, Mommy, I've been keeping track of the money you keep promising me. You owe me this kind of toy, and you're gonna get you. That's what's gonna happen.
He's like, Mommy, can I get another toy? I'm like, yeah, sure. We went somewhere else, got something else. It was like $20. I was like, all right, you good? Yeah, Mommy, I'm good. Cool. That was it. I didn't have to go to the beach. I didn't have to go and deal with no sand, go in the pool, because I was like the only mom that would have been willing to get in with the kids, and it was 3 babies, and like 2 of them take swimming, 1 of them doesn't. So it was just like I had Micah's little life vest thing that he really doesn't need, but I put it on him for my own peace of mind. But I got 3 kids, so who's getting it? Like, and he's the oldest. So it was just like, you know, it just made my life easier. But yeah, I do stuff like that. You know, every so often I'll take him and we'll drive out to Kalahari or
to where?
Kalahari in the Poconos, the indoor water park.
So you got to say Poconos. I know the Poconos. I don't know Kalahari. I don't be doing that bougie stuff. Okay.
Oh my God, you got to take the kids. He loves it.
Okay, so you have to remember, my kids aren't kids anymore. Ayana's 17, working.
So that means she's not gonna like the indoor water park? It's a water park.
I don't want to go to indoor water park. Nobody asked you, Heaven. So
see, she wants to go.
She wants to do anything that involves water.
Listen, send her with me. I'm probably taking him for his birthday this year. That's gonna be his birthday
party. Let me know. I told you. I gotta link you with Patty. You need a real babysitter. We give you the family discount too. You ain't know she does that? Like I said, we'll talk after. Don't worry. So, you know, we've got about 15 minutes left. Let's get into the dirt.
Oh boy.
Yes.
What's the dirt?
What's the dirt? How is it finding relationships, being
oh my God, not this.
Finish my question. let me finish my question, Negro. How is it getting in relationships, being in relationships, maintaining, finding relationships, being a single mom, being a busy working person, being a woman of very high standards?
My standards aren't that high. I feel like my standards are very much attainable.
Mm-hmm.
Dating is hard. Dating is rough. For the first 2 years of being a mom, I actually dated nobody. I didn't even think about dating. I was just so busy with school and work and just focusing on my child that I wasn't even thinking about dating until one day my friend was like, "Oh, I haven't got none in like a month." And I was like, "I haven't got none in,
Oh,
oh
wow.
shit, damn, it's been that long." And it wasn't even a thought in my mind. Like I was just so laser focused. Um, with that being said, I had a conversation with I was having a conversation with my friends the other day, my coworkers, and they were saying how like, not for nothing, but nurses are hard to deal with. And I'm like, no, we're not. She's like, yes, we are, because we hold everybody to our standards. I'm like, what are you talking about? We don't hold everybody to our standards. She's like, yes, we hold everybody to the same standards that we're held to. And I was like, bullshit. What are you talking about? She was like, think about it. She said she just bought a house, and these people, the contractors, they're like messing up and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And they're like, oh, well, it was a mistake. We'll fix it. I apologize. She's like, you know what happens when I make a mistake at work? Somebody does.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, I do that too. She was like, see, we hold people to our standards. I was like, you're right. Because I do the same thing with dating. Like, you're not going to tell me you're going to do something and don't do it. Because if I tell my patient I'm going to do something and don't do it, guess what? Now we get low HCAP scores. Now that's going to be reflected on my annual review. Thankfully, I'm not a staff nurse, so that don't matter. But that's not the point. The point is, ethically, you're held to a certain standard. Like even in driving, I was driving and it was so much traffic and I was trying to get on the bridge and it was mad traffic. My mom was like, do what everybody else is doing. Just go around and jump in at the end. I'm like, Ma, that's not ethically right. She's like, so what? They're doing it to you. They're not doing it the ethically right thing. So why can't you not do the ethically right thing? And I'm like, because I'm not them. So I think it's very difficult to date me specifically. I won't speak for all nurses, but
Right.
I just hold people to a certain level, which is probably the same level that society holds me to, being a nurse. And I think sometimes it can be hard. It depends on the person. Also, I'm not a person that really expects much from anybody because I'm a very single, strong, independent person. I don't need you to tell me what to do, tell me when to go, when not to go. That's not going to work. So with that being said, if I'm asking you for something, I'm giving you the opportunity to do something nice for me. I don't need you to do it.
Oh, hold on. I got to digest for a second. I'm giving you the opportunity to do something nice for me.
Yeah, because I don't need you to do anything for me. I can do it for myself. If I ask you to buy me, for example, these earrings, I'm not asking you because I can't afford the earrings. I'm asking you because I'm trying to let you do something nice for me. But if you don't want to buy them, I'll buy them myself. I'll buy both of them, actually. I don't even have to choose one now. I'm going to buy both of them. It's just that simple.
Petty. Like I said in the beginning, petty.
I'm not petty. It's just, if you can't give me what I'm asking for, I'm going to give it to myself. I'm not going to deny myself because you can't do it.
That's fair. Are you allowing, listen to the word, allowing these men to show that they might not be to this high standard, but what if they're just a little bit above it? Are you allowing them to show that maybe all of your expectations aren't all of the correct expectations? Maybe
but that's the thing. I don't have expectations.
Are there expectations? You don't? What?
I don't have these high expectations. Like I said, I don't expect you to do anything for me.
But you do. You're indirectly having expectations, but we're not going to go back and forth. I hear you. So no. This is your platform and this is your show. I'm going to let you live. So you're saying that guys not meeting these certain expectations is hard. Standards. And you don't think your standards are too high.
I don't, because so like, all right, let me put it this way. A lot of people have this mindset that, oh, well, if you date this lawyer or this doctor, they're going to be better than dating the janitor.
Mm-hmm.
And so they think that those people are more likely to meet those standards. And I think that's really what the disconnect comes in. And I've learned from dating people of this status that that's not actually the case. You could date the janitor and get treated much better than dating the CEO of the company. And you would think that, oh, the CEO, they have so much money, so they're going to treat you well and they're going to do all of this. No, this is a cheap bastard. They're not doing shit for you. Whereas the janitor is more willing to, because now they're looking at it like, oh my God, like, not to say that anybody's is more superior than the other, but they're looking at it like, oh my God, like, I'm dating this nurse. Like, of all the people in the hospital, she could be dating anybody, but she's dating me. So I feel like they just work harder to prove themselves or to show that they care about you and they value you. And so me personally, I'd rather date someone who, I don't want to date anybody that's medical, period. I don't want to date anybody in the medical field because it's just too much. It's too stressful.
No nurses?
I don't want no nurses. I'm not doing.
No male nurse, no nurses?
Nope.
No
Don't want them.
doctors?
Nope.
No
Don't want them.
no anesthesiologists? No.
Don't want them. If I'm dating somebody from work, they better be non-clinical.
Oh. So they have to be. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how has the application process been going? Are you currently accepting applications? I'm going to let the world know for you. Are you accepting applications? Are you holding interviews?
I am not currently accepting applications.
Okay. Okay. So does that mean you're not accepting them? You're not looking for them? Or you already have, the job's already fulfilled currently?
The job is currently filled.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, girl.
And we did meet at work, and he's non-clinical.
Okay. All right. So you see, standards. You got your checklist you're getting met. That's what's good. So you said that you don't like to do things that aren't ethically right.
Correct.
What does that mean? Elucidate.
It's just like, so I remember one of my professors when I was in nursing school, she was like, you're driving on the street and you're merging. What makes you more superior than the other person driving? Like, why do you have to merge in front of them? Why can't you merge behind them?
Got a bigger car. Hit them. Run that bitch over.
That's not ethically right. Like, it's stuff like that. And it just makes you think. And it's like, well, there is no difference if I'm in front of them or behind them. It's a matter of what, a couple of seconds sooner or later that I get to my destination. Like, what difference does it make? It really doesn't make a difference. And, to see that somebody's been sitting in this traffic, in this lane for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes trying to get on this bridge. And now I'm going to go around and go all the way to the front and jump in front of them. That is so wrong. Because I know when that happens to me, I be angry. Like, I get so infuriated. Like, what made you think that you could jump in front of me? Now I'm going to box you out, make sure you can't get in front of me. Because that is just not ethically correct. But with the world that we live in today,
but what you did in response is ethically correct? Is that pettiness? But you're not petty.
It's petty. It is petty.
Not petty, you said.
I have petty tendencies, but I'm not petty. I'm not a petty person. I just have petty tendencies. But it's just, so it's like stuff like that. Like, I don't want to be the one to go and cut around everybody and jump in front of them, but I'm not going to let them jump in front of me neither. Just saying. Not when I sat in this traffic for 20 minutes, sweat my wig off and everything. Now my wig is all the way back here, and you going to jump in front of me? And this actually happened, by the way. I got to my destination. I was like, why does my hair look, oh shit, my wig. Let me pull this back up real quick. Yeah.
All right, so tell me what you would say to me to convince me to be a nurse. A male nurse.
If you wasn't showing interest, I would not convince you.
I know. So I'm telling you, hey, Shelisha, I'm thinking about being a nurse. And, what do you think?
First, I would want to know, why do you want to do it? Because if you just want to do it for the money, don't even bother.
I just want to help people. The money ain't bad, though, but I want to help people.
You want to help people. Okay. So with that being said, I would tell you to go for it. I'm never going to discourage anybody from doing anything that they really want to do because they want to do it because they have pure tendencies and intentions. If you're doing it for the money, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. You're not going to be happy. I actually did a research course that showed that people who choose their jobs based on like financial gain, and they tend to switch from job to job because they're never satisfied with their job, because something's gonna happen where you're gonna feel like I don't get paid enough for this shit. Like that day with that girl with the domestic violence and all that stuff, in that moment I felt like I don't get paid enough for this bullshit, but I'm not doing it for the money. So even though the money is great, that's an added benefit. That's not my sole purpose for going to work every day. Like I don't get up every morning like, yeah, I'm about to make $1,000 today. No, that is not how I wake up feeling. So that's not what drives me. You have to really genuinely and truly be into it and really want it. Like that has to really be, you have to get a smile, put a smile on your face, like from helping your patients. Like I've had patients that tell me, and these are the patients that when I have the best days. I had this one patient one day, she said, your mom must be so proud of you. Is your mom proud? I said, well, I hope so. She said, even if your mom is not proud of you, I'm proud of you. If you was my child, my heart be out to here because I'm just so proud of you. You're just so beautiful and so kind. You do your job so well. And that just, let me tell you something. You could have told me that, I don't know what you could have did, but there was nothing you could have did to change my day, to make my day any bad. Like nothing could change my day that day.
Right.
And then I had told one of the nurses about it. And like the next day I was having a bad day. She's like, remember what that patient said to you yesterday? That's what you need to hear today. And that changed my day again because it was just like those are the moments that I live for when I go to work. And I mean, you might get that once every couple months, but then it's enough to hold you over for a couple months, usually. I also wear a bracelet that says "Be the Change," and that's just my daily reminder that when I come to work to make a difference and to have a positive influence in somebody's life. That doesn't mean that sometimes people don't get under your skin and you have to give them some tough love and be a little blunt.
Cuss them out.
But I didn't say all of that.
I did.
But all in all, like I get up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I want to make a difference in someone's life today. Like that's what I get up. Do I feel like I do that every day? Maybe not. I'm dealing with a very difficult population. But I try to educate my patients as much as I can and, do the best that I can. I had one patient one time, I remember her pressure was high. She came in, I forget what she came in for, but I checked her blood pressure and it was high. That's not what she was there for. And she was like, oh, that's good. I didn't take my medication. Usually my pressure is like 200 over whatever when I don't take my medication. I'm like, ma'am, these are stroke numbers. Your pressure is 170 over 150. I don't know. I'm just making something up.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I got the kids, and so I just don't have time. I think she said she had like 7 kids or some crazy shit, something like that. She's like, I just be so focused on the kids. I don't have time for self-care. I said, girl, it takes all of 30 seconds to take these pills for your blood pressure? I said, you realize if you have a stroke, these kids don't have nobody? And she's like, yeah, I worry about my kids. What if something happens to me because their father's schizophrenic? That's all the more reason why you should take this medication. So I spoke to her, and I think I put the fear of God in her enough for her to realize, like, she's like, you know what? You scared me so much. Now I'm going to take my medication. I said, thank you. I'm happy that I was able to do that for you. And I wasn't even her assigned nurse. I was in triage. All I did was check her vitals. But just that one little 5-minute conversation was enough to make a difference. Now, did she go home and take her medication? I will never know. But the fact that in that moment, I was able to change the way she looked at taking her medications, that made me feel like, okay, I made a difference in this girl's life today. Whether or not she listens to me is a whole nother story. But at least I know for 5 seconds, she thought, I'm going to start taking my medication and taking care of myself. And that's what makes me go to work every day.
Look at you.
And I feel like if you want to be a nurse, you have to have that mindset and want to have that kind of influence on people's lives. Otherwise, you're going to hate every day of it. You're literally going to be miserable because there's going to be days when you're like, there's plenty of days when my whole vocabulary consists of WTF. Like, that's just all I could say for the day. And then there's days where like, oh, okay, I made a difference in this person.
Make a difference every day.
I try to. I do my best.
You don't try. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no such thing as try. You're do. Right.
I know. Try means to fail with dignity, so.
Well, you don't try. We do. So, 2 questions left. Micah comes up to you and says, Mommy, I want to be a nurse.
God. He already said that.
And what'd you say?
I encourage him. I asked him, why do you want to be a nurse? He said, because, Mommy, I want to help people like you help people. I asked him, what does he think nurses do? He's like, Mommy, they help people. And even when I when I finished school, my mom was like, "Well, Micah, you know your mom's is a NP now. She's a nurse practitioner." He's like, "Yes, mom. Yes, Gammy. I know my mommy's a nurse practitioner." And he's like, "I want to be a nurse practitioner in the hospital, in the ER when I grow up." And she's like, "Well, what do you know about nurse practitioners? What do they do?" He's like, "So, Gammy, let's say you're having a baby." And she's like, Gammy can't have no more babies. Gammy's allergic. And he's like, "But Gammy, how could you be allergic? And you have my mommy and Auntie Dede and Auntie Roxy and Uncle Jai." She's like, "I got the allergy afterwards." He's like, "Okay, but let's just say somebody's having a baby and they come to the hospital. I'm going to help them have their baby." And I don't know how he got that, where he got that analogy from, because that was a pretty elaborate analogy for him. I would have expected him more to say something along the lines of, she said this another time. He's like, "Mommy, I was being a nurse in school today." I said, "Yeah, how?" He's like, "Well, my friend got a cut and I put a Band-Aid on it." And
Oh,
that's what I expected him to have in his mind of what a nurse does. But this whole having a baby and helping you have a baby, I was just like, how did you fathom that thought
he's
to
headed for
even,
obstetrician and gynecology. Let that boy live. Get the money.
yeah. I was like, okay, no, it's so high risk. I wouldn't want him to go there. I mean, if he wants to, but go ahead, but it's so high risk.
That's a lot of money. They make that
It
shmoney.
is, but they get sued the most.
Oh, that's okay.
No, it's
Listen,
not.
I like my only job is to get this baby out of you.
Listen, I'm not nothing to do with anything after that. I'm not gonna do anything before that. Just deliver this baby.
Exactly. I don't know what you've been doing. So, last question. If you could be any superhero or supervillain,
Oh God.
who would you be and why?
Superwoman.
Who?
I don't know. I don't watch
No,
superhero
I didn't hear
shows.
what you said.
Oh, that's her name. That's what she is, right? Not Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. I
You
said
want to be
Superwoman.
Wonder Woman? Why do you
I
want to
don't
be?
know. I don't know. I just chose a name out of a hat because she's a woman. I don't know. I don't. You know, I don't watch TV like that.
All right, sure.
I'm a super mom. Okay, I am my own superhero within my own class of itself.
Oh boy, I know. So you keep telling me. You keep making your painstaking out. I know you're a superhero,
I
and
am.
I know. I just said that.
But if you ask Micah, he's gonna tell you no, because they asked him that Kung Fu when they were like, "Is your mommy a superhero?" He was like, "No, she's an ER nurse."
That's a lot of work, though.
It
All
is.
right, I feel like we did it. So, thank you for your time. It was very nice to get to know you and to talk to you and learn some new things about you. And again, congratulations. Why are you laughing?
What did you learn about me?
School. I didn't know some of the school stuff.
Okay.
Congratulations on your FNP. Is that what it's called?
Thank you. Yes, FNP BC
Oh,
board
I don't.
certified.
What's FNP?
Family nurse practitioner board certified.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. Keep doing good things. Good luck in your doctoral pursuits. You'll knock it out. Don't ask me to help you with anything, writing wise.
You're gonna be writing my papers. Don't play.
I'm gonna charge you two
I'm gonna
thousand
have
dollars
you
a month.
proofread.
We'll see. Nurses are a unique kind. They have the insatiable need to care for others, which is both their greatest strength and fatal flaw.
I agree
So
with that.
I know you've been saying it all day. So next the 18th, I have my friend Mina coming on. She works with massage and perinatal and postnatal and moms and all that stuff. She does a lot of good stuff. So that's the 18th on Everyday Experts. Shelisha Roach, I thank you for coming on. And as they say, be the change you want to see in the world. See, I stole your quote. Mr. Fishback, Joker out.
We done?
We're still live, Rob. We're still live, Rob. Robert.